Well, I'm not sure if this is going to come out. My phone might fall over. Yeah, I was going to show you what I use for ticks. Ticks and mosquitoes. It's about 13 bucks a little bottle, but it's 100% DEET. Just spray that around your cuff of your pants. And I made it down to the hop alright. And I get to test out my new eyeballs. I had to look, make sure I wasn't jinxed on that. The bag didn't say Bushnell on it, but it does right here. So these are Bushnell. I wish I had some Nikon. Those are a lot better. For me, they are anyway. But I think they're 8 power. Oh yeah, much better. Now I still have the blotches that I can't see through, but this helps me focus my vision I do have, and it's almost like in 3D to me. But not a bad investment for a pair of glasses, Bushnell glasses. But I will be heading out. Had a friend give me a ride. Where I'm at, nothing stops but little locals. Yeah, the case says Bushnell, and I had to make sure it wasn't a cheap pair of crap binoculars put in a Bushnell case, but they're genuine Bushnell. Yeah. I just realized this alkali water. I had to Google it. I mean, I knew it was I know what alkali is. I just didn't know how it affects the body. And it's supposed to transfer energy and nutrients throughout the bloodstream a lot better. So it's kind of like Armor water, or whatever they call that, something Armor. But I ain't paying $4 a daggum pint. But yeah, at Food City or Kroger, you can get this brand. It's like $1.89 a gallon. Then when you get real tired, you can drink that smart water. And it takes maybe a half of a pint to really get you feeling better. Went and got everything I needed, but yeah, it's made by Coleman. 100% DEET. So when you put it on, you got to really use it sparingly, or you'll start burning your skin. So try to just get it on your clothes, and it's so fumes come off of where you spray, so that keeps the mosquitoes down, even if you spray your boots or pant cuff. But yeah, the tracks are just right behind us here. See if I can lift this without shutting it off. Yeah, I wish they made tripods for cell phone cameras. You could put your phone on a little tripod. That's gonna be my next investment, is GoPro, one of the latest ones, and that way I'll learn how to edit the videos and upload them from a laptop. Yeah, the crew change, about 3/4 of them, maybe a little more than 3/4 of a mile up. So what that means here is that I will be about 3/4 of the way back from the head end of the train. It's mainline crew change too, so there's only a single line through here until you get to the yard, big yard. But yeah, I ain't getting eat up by ticks again. Yeah, they got a lot of these in Alaska. We call them Quonset hut. They're like half pipe buildings. This one's abandoned, but some people made a trail through here, some locals, and it just links this housing complex back over in here with the Kroger behind me. Yeah, I was looking earlier, I think they're dog bones, and there's a black trash bag, so somebody probably threw a dead dog or dying dog. Didn't really know at first, but I knew it wasn't human. Then I seen the scapula here, or actually that's probably one of the ilium or ischium of the pelvis. Yeah, that's what that is. I didn't know until I picked it up just then, or part of the ilium or ischium part of the pelvis. But yeah, there's only been a couple of, I call them zebra mosquitoes. There's white stripes on them. Boy, when they nail you, you know it. But they're not like the ones in Alaska that you itch for 2 hours. Yeah, I didn't know that house was that close, so I might have to lower my voice. This is just a demo video, my first outside video. I'm still learning with the camera too, not to pan too fast. Because I see a lot of people who make videos with their phones and they pan real fast and it actually makes you dizzy. You can never get one single thing to focus on. And I think this has got stability control in it. This new camera, new phone of mine. Now I try to set this back on my pack. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make more videos of me on the train this time. Let's see. Give me a second here. I hope that stays. Yeah, somebody was asking me earlier to make a video when I was in Canada and got deported them times. I may have already mentioned it in another video or two, but back in May of '92, I'd ridden into Bangor out of Rigby Yard in South Portland, Maine, and went to sleep on a boxcar there in the yard in Bangor. They hooked me up during the night and kept heading east and north. And I think I want to say it was St. Stephen's, Maine at the border. And I rode on into Edmundston, New Brunswick. And then from there I just hitchhiked to North Sydney ferry terminal on Cape Breton Island. And it's about 110 miles across the Atlantic to Newfoundland, a little town of Port-au-Basque, P-O-R-T-A-U-X-B-A-S-Q-U-E, Port-au-Basque. Then it's about 550 kilometers or miles across to St. John's. And yeah, I think I have mentioned this story, but for those who hadn't seen that video yet, yeah, I used to have seizures pretty bad back then. I had one and ended up in the hospital, and that's where Immigration Officer Greg Powers came and visited me. He gave me an option of deportation order or deportation notice, and I had to ask him what the difference was. And if I would have taken the deportation notice, they'd have gave me a little money and time to get out of Canada, and I'd have been allowed back. But since I wasn't feeling good, I took the order, which bans you from Canada unless you get written consent from the Prime Minister, which was never going to ever happen, even if I was a millionaire. So about 3 days later, they flew me back to Baton Rouge to my brother's, and 4 months later, August '92, did the same exact route back, same way. And of course, the second time a trucker snuck me in his sleeper. That way I wouldn't have to pay the $16 walk-on ferry fee. It's like 45 now. I checked it about a month ago. And of course, you're on the ferry for about 9-10 hours. So I managed to talk to some people that were going on to St. John's, and so by the time we got to Port aux Basques, I had a ride, place to sleep. To get to St. John's and got noticed, and I don't know how they did it, but same thing happened again. Same immigration officer, Greg Powers, and they asked me where I wanted to go, back to Baton Rouge again. I said, nah, Barrow, Alaska. So they said, well, we might could get you to Anchorage, but I doubt we can get you all the way to Barrow. Barrow's top of the world, above the Arctic Circle. So about 4 days later, he said, yeah, you're going to Barrow. And so they flew me to Halifax, and then to Ottawa, Seattle, Anchorage, Barrow, via Fairbanks. And that was a really neat experience. I'll have to talk about Barrow. It's actually called something else now. They changed the name back to the native name of Barrow. The Nisquik, I believe is what it, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say Nisquik. It's a really funny word. It's native. I don't think it's Athabascan, but it's one of the, or it might be Inuit, but yeah. And then in my like 21st or 22nd trip to Alaska in 2007, I flew back from Alaska to SeaTac Airport in Tacoma, Washington, took the freight train, and went into Canada on accident, actually, and ended up in Cranbrook, Calgary. And then Calgary, I caught a different freight train to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Wasn't feeling good, and went to sleep under a railroad bridge that crosses over the railroad yard there in Moose Jaw. And the bull, doing his rounds, see me laying there. He said he went ahead and did his round, came back, and then woke me up. He said I didn't look like I felt good. He'd take me to the emergency room if I wanted, and I said sure. So he ran me through the computer, and nothing came up. And dropped me off at the ER. I went in and seen the doctor. Doctor was just coming in with a little paper cup with some pills to make me feel better. And two RCMP walk in and said, Mr. Nichols, you know why we're here? And I shook my head. Yeah, I thought he was there thinking I was chasing drugs or something. But that's why I said yes. But they said, no, it's not that. It's we after the railroad bull dropped you off, they ran you through the immigration and seen you've been deported twice before in '92. And so the doctor came in and again and said, so is he going home with you guys? And the RCMP said, yeah, oh yeah. So they transported me about 60-80 miles to Regina, the headquarters for the Crown, which is the federal Crown is the same thing as like our FBI, and had me in a federal holding cell and had me on the 7th floor. They call it the Hill, out at this old dungeon looking jail with real iron bars and granite blocks. I mean, this was like seeing the prisons in movies. I mean, it was, the guards were that rough. But spent several weeks in there, but they kept delaying my deportation to the border on purpose, just so to learn me, darn me type deal. They kept saying, well, your order didn't go through. And I'm like, yeah, bull crap. But they just drove me to the border, and then they called ahead to a Minot, North Dakota sheriff to meet me at the border at Portal, North Dakota, there north of Minot. And so he gave me a ride on in to Minot, and then from there I got back on a freight train. But that was my dealings with Canada. I ain't been back since. everybody keeps telling me, you ought to go up to Canada. I'm like, yeah, they told me I'd get 2 flat years federal next time. So I can't go back without written consent of God now. I mean, after doing it 3 times. And if I get caught again up there, it's mandatory 2 years. But I've thought about doing it if I ever got really sick. Just going up there and going, hello, hey, here I am again. Getting taken care of better up there medically anyway. But, you know, that I ain't giving up that easy. But, well, I hope this is still recording. Yeah, I think it is. You know what, now that I think about it, I think I told that story already. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh no, that was Forrest Gump, wasn't it? Not Carl Childers. Yeah, I gotta get my Doppler radar on. I see a thunderhead. You can see the anvil on it right there, and the cirrus and stratocirrus clouds and cumulus. It ain't far. It should be staying in the mountains though. I don't know why the camera's doing this back and forth, but anyway, yeah, it's like it's on a delay or something.